you arrive in the Pale at Alex's, or Alexander's, and you can take it as far as you would like.
Okay. Basically, through our meeting in Poland, if it's okay.
Sure, yeah. Till
Okay.
67?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
So I ended up in Bucket at Alexander Jevetsky apartment. To name it apartment, it's exaggeration. It was semi-basement, one big room divided by arch. For many years, I visualized that room to the point that I started convincing myself that it's just a dream. Being child, even 1, 2 years old, I could not really remember that well. But when in 67, when I met her, I described how I visualize that basement, and she says exactly like it was. So it was semi-basement with window on the ground level, not big window, but window big enough for a person to get through it. And you go to steps to basement, you open the door, and I think there are 3 more steps already inside of that room, and to your right there was big wooden stove. I have no idea where she was getting wood or coal, I have no idea. And one thing I remember, it's almost was packed with smoke. With me there were number of children. I cannot say that I clearly remember living there. I remember someone knocked on the door, and Alexandra went open the door, and when she came back, she held some food, and I clearly remember cake, small cake. Those people from partisans were trying to help her, not because just of me, there were few more people, but partisans knew that she is helping. I think that at one point she has like 13 children. So it's not much I remember about being there. But she was Christian lady, very deeply believing in God, and her language was Polish. So my first language I began to speak is Polish. Now, one way or another, she could not keep me in the basement for years and years. I had to go just outside to play with children and so on and so on. So she had to legitimize me being there. So she went to City Hall at that time, led by German and Lithuanian, and she said that she found me on the step of the church, and she wants to adopt me. I was blonde like my mother, so I definitely didn't look Jewish, so there was no suspicious. And eventually she received birth certificate at the name of Stanislav Marian Kostko. Kostko last name, first name Stanislav. It's in the honor of Saint Stanislavus, like we have Saint Stanislavus Church in Buffalo, in honor of that saint. And as a child, I was used to that name. At the same time, I call her Mateńka, which is in Polish language, mommy, but until maybe 13, 14 years old, I even didn't think of meaning of Matenka. I thought it's just her name until I realized that it's mommy. She was bringing me up as her own child. And even when we saw her in 67, she says that you were my baby, you were my child, and I didn't think I ever will part with you. Unfortunately, it didn't end up, how would say properly, well. When my father, after city was liberated, came to pick me up, Alexandra told him that my mother, talking to her, told her not to give me to anyone but her. My father did not believe in it, but this was what she said. So, and my father was very honest, very honorable person. And he was placed in situation when instead of expressing his thanks forever to that woman who saved his life, he had to sue her. It was such drastic event in his life that he never could communicate with her. He, of course, won court case. Court asked her how much you want for your effort, and she says 1 ruble. That's all, which was symbolic. And she gave me away. My father was so dramatized by the event. He never met with her anymore. He never communicated. He never prohibited me from getting in touch with her, but he never encouraged me. This was not good. That lady, which is actually already, we're moving to story of her life. What comes to me, my father, at that time probably my father was not married yet. He gave me to kindergarten. And I have no idea how I knew where Alexandra lived. She moved from one apartment to another, and that apartment was just 2 minutes away from kindergarten. So my father was bringing me to kindergarten, opened the door, and kindergarten was on 2nd floor. So he just moved me into staircase, go, and he went to work. So I waited for him to leave, and I was watching, and I was running to Alexandra's house. It could not last for long, but probably a few weeks passed by until kindergarten got in touch with my father. What's going on? Why you're not bringing your child? What do you mean? I bring every single day. So when he found out about it, he brought me to kindergarten, moved me into staircase, and hide behind building. So as soon as I tried to run, he grabbed me, where are you going? I am going to Alexandra. So I was prohibited to run away, but they asked me, okay, how did you know when to come home? So I said, when German prisoners of the war were marching back from work, it was time for me to go. We exchange, I grew up, we exchange greeting cards. She always invited me for Christmas. And it was very interesting. She was poor like mouse. But by Polish tradition, or at least in Vilna, in her way of religion, Vigilia, which is Christmas Eve dinner, supposed to have 12 meals. Maybe it's because of 12 apostles or whatever. She could not afford 12 meals, of course, but there always were 12. There was fried potato, there was mashed potato, there was another kind of potato, and such herring, and such herring, and such herring. She always had 12. And I visited her every year for Christmas. More than that, she baptized me when I was little baby, and she was bringing me up really in Christian religion way. When my uncle, my mother brother, who at the time already was in Poland, moving through the ranks, came, he found my father, and eventually he found the rest of the family. He visited us in Vilna, and he walked with me on the street. There was one place, holiest Christian place in the Vilnius, one of holiest Christian place in Europe, and it's what used to be city gate into old Vilna. It has chapel on above the gates. It's gate in the building, not just gate, and in that gate, Golden Madonna, which is one holiest in Europe. So I knelt and crossed because everyone did the same over there. My uncle was very surprised, Jewish boy. So this is the way she brought me up, and that's it.